Well, it's Sunday night, and you guys all know what that means. I'm Ryan Schroet, joined as always by my buddy Kevin Ducey. What's happening, Kev?
Hey Ryan, glad to be back. A little couple week hiatus. Enjoyed the holiday weekend, and we probably should have hopped on last week, but there was a lot of things going on. My Thunder, of course, advanced into the NBA Finals, and that was a lot of fun. Excited. It's really it's kind of electric around here. I had a couple of social engagements over the weekend, and both times the Thunder dominated a lot of the conversation. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I think that it was a good reason. I was letting everybody enjoy the Western Conference Finals. There was things coming. I think Illini fans were wanting to watch Terrence Shannon, right?
Hey
Like,
man, you know what? He showed so well in the time that he played, and I heard somebody talking about like how he was just like how it was mentally tough of him to like not get a lot of playing time and come in and just be assertive as what he was. And I thought about this for a second. I'm like, the dude spent, you know, almost a year, 9 months at least. It felt like no, it was probably more like 7 months of his life where his life was on the line. And so I would imagine once you free that up, you just play some basketball, man. Like it's just basketball. It's just a game. It's a game we play as kids, a game we love. Yeah, he's getting paid to do it. He's getting paid well to do it. But he showed so well in his time that he played. And I do think he's going to get a much bigger role next year. I don't think there's any way that the T-Wolves keep
they got three guys that I think have deals coming up that they got to
yeah,
figure out. Nasir.
Alexander Walker's is probably going to command, 10 million plus, and I don't think they're in cap hell as it is. So I think that you're going to see a lot more Terrence Shannon Jr. next year.
When you get Stephen A. Smith on ESPN,
right,
talking about Terrence Shannon by himself out of nowhere, when you're talking about the Western Conference Finals, right? You wouldn't think that a role player off the bench would draw the eye of Stephen A. Smith to talk about how impressed he was and how a bigger role he'll have. And but you know what? That's one thing that we loved about Terrence at Illinois. Like, he never bitched. He never, he just does what you get he just does what he does when he gets his chance, and it is what it is.
I think sometimes we forget about his first year at Illinois. I mean, he still played so well on that team that lost in the first round. But he was on that team.
It's like he wasn't great, but he was really good.
He was on that turmoil team though, and you never heard him cry about it at all.
No.
And remember, Brad did the fart noise calling him out at the Northwestern game, and Terrence never
wavered. Yeah. He's just tough as nails, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, so I was enjoying watching him when he got to play a little bit. I know this isn't a Wolves Thunder show, but I think those two are going to be meeting again in the conference finals, probably again at some point.
Oh yeah, I mean, Bagan was really cool about it. He did that to cap tip to the Thunder in our group chat, but at the same time, it's like I told him and I told some of my other Wolves fans, I think this is an opportunity for a budding rivalry. I really believe that. And I think that the NBA could use a new budding rivalry, right?
And I think Chris Finch is kind of hindered. I think Finch is a part of the big problem with the Wolves. I think, when you don't know how to use Terrence Shannon until specific times of the year and then you don't play him anymore, just certain rotations. There was guys just hurting them and he kept them in the game. I mean, anyway, so I think there's one or two pieces the Wolves need, but congrats to your Thunder. And I'm not going to say they're going to sweep the Pacers. I think the Pacers might win one in Indy. Play Pascal and Halliburton. When Halliburton plays well, they win a game or two, man.
Yeah, for sure. And they're going to do some things. They're going to challenge the Thunders. I'm happy for both teams. I think Indiana's a lot of fun to watch. I know a lot of people are down in it because it's two of the smaller markets in the league that are playing each other. But it's funny. I looked at tickets. The 16th would be Game 5, and my wife's out of town. I was like, oh, I'll get a ticket for myself, man. I looked at the ticket price. I'm like, no, I'm just going to find some buddies to hang out with.
Yeah, yeah. What nosebleeds? What, like $1,200, something like that?
$750.
$750. Okay.
It's one of those things. If I could have bought two of them, but I wasn't going to spend $1,500. And granted, a buddy would pay me back for them, but I'm not. I love sports because of the social aspect of sports. I really don't enjoy I don't mind being at games by myself because normally you can find some friends or whatever. Like you're cheering for the same team, but I really like the Sports is such a part of me because it's kept me in relationships with people for a very long time. It's like no matter what, we can still talk about the Illini or the Cubs or the Bears or whatever. And so to have it where it's a situation where I could go by myself, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So, and I couldn't find two together, man. So they went pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I
Now,
think about like our road trips, like driving up to Northwestern, you, me, and Bob. I mean, that's part of it, right?
yeah, it's part of it. And like, so for an example, I never met Bob, which was Kevin's childhood friend, and then I met him on the way up, right? And then of course Kev has to. You went to Midway, or where were you? Where did you
Yeah,
go?
yeah. I had to fly out the first thing in the morning.
And so I have this car ride down from Chicago to Champaign with just Kevin's friend Bob, who I had just met that day, which is a little weird, but like a little not, because we had just celebrated a big win and we were in a good Illini mood. And
But that's what sports do to you. It's the same way we show up at John's house. I never met John. Obviously, I interacted with him on Twitter, and his wife. They make us chili, and
his awesome Colombian wife.
yeah, we got great chili before the game with his wife, and like it just, it's just sports do that. They create connection, and that's why it's a beautiful thing, and that's why. I mean, I know people have cut sports out of their lives. Like I got a buddy of mine, Scott. He doesn't watch sports anymore because he says he doesn't make money off of it. And I understand what he's saying, but I enjoy the human connection that I get from being a sports fan. I loved it when I was down in Orlando and people were coming up to me like, "Dude, I watched the show." I was like, "Man, that's really cool." So,
Yeah.
Tony Naperville and I were hanging out, man. It was fun. Some other guys too.
It's been cool. I've gotten to meet and get to know so many people from just doing this show and doing a Illini Pulse when I had with Ked, and when we did a show before, just it was like on a podcast, it wasn't live stream, but yeah, good time. So now with the Illini, some info and news that was in the national kind of spotlight. We had talked about it in the early part of spring, like Luke Altmyer having other suitors that were coming to try to, see if he would budge. Like how strong was his bond, and how planted was he in Champaign, or could he be lured away by money? From teams like Tennessee, who specifically now we know was the team who was trying to get him to come because they were having quarterback issues when, their guy was basically held them up for money and he wanted more money and he didn't get it. And then he ended up going to UCLA, right, Kev?
Yeah, exactly. The Maliava.
Yeah, at Maliava. And then they basically did a trade with their quarterback now is at Tennessee, who, by the way, hasn't had nowhere near the success or the starting time that Altmyer's had.
Right.
Well, Tennessee has a pretty much unproven guy as their guy this year. Super talented, highly ranked, but not a guy that you can say went out there, won a bowl game, had been in, let's just keep it real. Luke Altmyer has thrown touchdown passes in the Sugar Bowl, has had several comeback wins and huge, games throughout his career, who just beat South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl.
Well, I think what it tells us, Ryan, is there's some levels of this that, you look at Luke Altmyer, and we all know that he had a wonderful season. Heck, I wrote about it on the website about where he could etch his name into Illinois lore, and he'll have a really wonderful opportunity to do that this year. He's going to move up up in the record books quite a bit. Not only that, if he can find a way to have 2 consecutive 10-win seasons at Illinois, I mean, he's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in Illinois history, and that's significant because we've had some really good quarterbacks, especially the run we had in the 80s. But what it tells us is that, like, we have blinders on as Illinois fans. Like, we always value our guys probably more than they're actually worth, right? We get mad when like Isaiah Williams doesn't get drafted, right, or things like that, or where he was unrestricted free agent, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Now with the Bengals, and we're like, man, well, that guy's so amazing. What I think this does for us is we look at Luke Altmyer getting interest from a program, borderline blue blood like Tennessee with tons of money. Is it says that Luke Altmyer is really freaking good, dude. Like, it's not just our orange and blue glasses that are telling us that this dude is a legit top high-end level quarterback in college football. And we've seen some of the folks who have come out and disrespected him with where they put him in the rankings. And we've seen some folks who put him pretty high. I think when you get interest from a school like Tennessee and the amount of money that they were supposedly throwing around, it tells you that the folks who are rating them pretty high are probably more accurate. The other thing around Altmyer is he did an interview with NBC Sports. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. Just type in Luke Altmyer, NBC. I tried to put it in the chat here. It's great. It's 22 minutes, but he's what it's doing is shining a light on what the program that Brett is building at Illinois and the cohesiveness and the culture that's there. And the way that Altmyer talks about Brett and overall the University of Illinois is really cool, especially, like you said, a kid from Mississippi who had never had any dreams or aspirations whatsoever about playing for the University of Illinois. I mean, like, kids in Mississippi don't think about playing in Illinois. And I don't blame them. No. It was a really cool interview, and I urge everybody to watch that. And you can check out the On3 article that talks about the stuff that he went through. And he's just, man, he's going to leave Illinois as an all-time favorite, and as he should. He's a great kid. I've met his parents at the tailgate at the Michigan game, and just great people.
Isn't his dad a pastor?
I think so. No, a doctor. He's
a doctor. A doctor.
He's very strong in his faith, though.
Yes.
So he does not waver there.
Faith's big. Yeah, so, I mean, and I want everybody to know this. It's not like he's playing at Illinois for chump change. I just want everybody to know that. I just keeping it real here.
Playing for free.
Yeah, like, it's not like Tennessee was offering him $3 million a year and Illinois is like paying him $400,000. I just want everybody to know that.
Right.
He's making 7 figures at Illinois. So, but guess what, though? The market, he deserves that. That's what the market tells him. You know,
right.
That's what the market says. He deserves that. If you want to go around starting quarterbacks in the Big Ten, and I think he's a top 5 starting quarterback in the Big Ten.
I do
what
too.
Would the market for a top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten go? I feel like he's making good money. And the thing is, he could have made twice as much, but he's staying loyal, and that's why he's going to go down to in the lures here. And Sean Garner, please send us questions, you guys. We'd like to answer those here before the show is over tonight. Sean Garner likes to just hammer me and hammer at home. The Cubs, yes, the Cubs have the best record in the league.
Like, the Cardinals have been playing really good baseball here. That's
yes, the Cardinals. Okay, and I would feel bad, but the Cardinals are right there, man. They're going to probably get a wild card spot this year. I mean, Cardinals.
The way they're playing right now, it'll be a fun summer. It's obviously as a Cubs fan, I don't like it when the Cardinals are good, but when the Cardinals and the Cubs are good, it makes it a ton of fun. So,
like, trust me, I am very pleased with how the Cardinals have played concerning the past 2 seasons. And let me tell you something: the Cardinal fans, they haven't been showing up to Busch. They literally had been sticking it to the GM and the management, and the ownership, basically saying, we don't approve of what you've been doing, and we're not going to show up until the team is worthy of it. And the team has been worthy of it of late. And guess what? They have slowly been showing up more. And that's how I think it should be here's why I say that's for a professional team. It's not about your Cub fans or best fans, Cardinal fans, blah, blah, blah. It's what product are we paying for?
No, it was the challenge where the Cubs got the lovable loser moniker for so long, is because the Cubs would still be in the top 5 in Major League Baseball in percentage of seats filled with a last place team. The Cubs fans always showed up because Wrigley's fun and it's got a vibe to it. And
so they could get away. They could get away with
not putting a good team on the field.
So I will applaud Cardinal fans for saying, I'm not dealing with it. Like, you guys want to do that to us for 3 straight seasons, we're not going to show up. So the team's been playing better and they've been showing up, because I just feel like the Cardinal fans handled it pretty well this year, and we'll see if the team can continue that through the summer.
Yeah, and it's cool. They play on the 4th of July. They play 4th of July weekend in Chicago. It'd be really cool.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that would be fun, man.
I'm gonna be up there then, but I'm probably gonna go to the Guardians game the day before. So.
Okay, well, that's good to know. You'll be in Chicago, man. I'm gonna have to make a trip up there.
I'll be back down in Central Illinois too. So I'm gonna
good.
Do a little bit of both. So
because I've got some folks in my family, my girl and my stepdaughter, are going to Europe. So they're going to Dublin and London, and I'm gonna be here with the 5-year-old. So
there you go, dad life, live it up. Hey Ryan, we want to talk about like what we got coming up this weekend from a visitor standpoint. Do you want to talk about Nasir, Rankin, and King Liggins, or what? Should we talk about the extensions for the coaches? Where should we go next with the show?
Well, besides our tip of the cap to Mr. Luke Altmyer, I think let's talk about Nasir Rankin and Liggins. I think those were. Here's why. Well, Riggins, of course, Nasir Rankin, obviously the biggest because not just a top 100 recruit, but you've got the top player. The top player,
arguably the top player in the state. Him and
arguably
Max
the top
Suter.
player in the state over Max Sutter. But yeah, just in the teams you beat out to get him, and what he can do instantly. I think just of how maybe the best playmaker Illinois has had, like versatility wise, speed wise, in a long time, Kev. I think that'd be a really interesting comparison. He definitely more elite speed than Isaiah Williams, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think about him is like he's a little bit bigger, but he's got like the same sudden burst and quickness. But you saw it a couple times with Isaiah is like he would get caught from behind. You're not going to catch Nasir Rankin very often from behind. So
yeah, so I think he's Isaiah. The thing that made Isaiah so great was his it wasn't his top end speed, it was just how quick he could get to where he needed to go.
Absolutely. In and out of his breaks when they were running that whip route, the jerk, I think you call it the jerk route, like he ran 2 years ago. Where
Rankin's got that, but he's got the top end speed too.
And he's a little bigger.
He's a little bit bigger. Yeah. So Nasir Rankin, huge. I think he'll play either side of the ball.
Ryan, I'll stand on this. The only way I think that he plays on the other side on both sides of the ball if he's primarily a defensive back, and I'll go with this, right? We look at guys who have done that at the college level. In our lifetime, there's only been one guy that did both a lot. And that was Travis Hunter last year, the Heisman Trophy winner. We saw it with Champ Bailey. We saw it with Charles Woodson. We've seen it with some other guys. Deion Sanders did it. Those guys were primary defensive backs who came in and got spot opportunities on offense. In my opinion, that's what Nasir is going to have to do if he wants to play on both sides of the ball. He's primarily a defensive back. And I think Illinois really wants his playmaking abilities on the offensive side of the ball. So I doubt you will see him play defense is my guess. But I do think they're going to give the kid a chance to figure it out.
And I can tell you this with Liggins, I think it's huge.
Oh.
It's huge anytime you can beat out
that kid was a Wisconsin kid 4 years ago.
Yeah. And you know what?
Iowa.
And when he went to see Iowa, he said they were leading when he left Iowa. So anytime you're beating out, it's like they're not going to win every battle, but they're consistently now beating out Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin for guys. And people are wondering like why they're like people are really believing in this and thinking, man, with the way Brett and his staff are developing, you're just getting those guys that like the toughness, the size, the grit you need on the interior of defensive line and offensive line to succeed. It's one thing if you don't have that top end speed athletes on the outside, you sure as hell better have it on the inside. The size,
and what I'm hearing is that they're not catering to these kids, like a lot of the kids where they're saying, "Hey, listen, I'm going to come in and start right away." Like that. It's like you got to come earn every bit of what you want to get at Illinois under Brett Bielema, and that's probably why we might miss on the borderline 5-star kids that we might go after. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. So just the fact that we're getting these guys that, man, and we all know in 2 or 3 years are going to produce, they're going to be and they're going to play. And since year 2, Bielema, a lot of Bielema's recruits, they've been coming in at 2 and 3 years and producing and playing. Like JoJo Hayden. You look at him, like it looked like year 1, he didn't, and then midway through year 2, you're like, wow, where's he even at? Is he even on the depth chart? And then bam, he's got his own little package. He's in there making plays. And now he's a guy that's going to be depended on heavily in year 3.
Yeah.
And there's tons of guys like that. So, a Joey Barna, guys like that who you're like, we didn't hear much year 1 or a lot. And then towards the end of the year, the beginning of year 2, bam, there he is. So
I think you're going to see it this year with Angel McCullum, Jeremiah Warren, Demetrius John, some of those guys, Malachi Hood.
Yeah, Malachi Hood was at the same thing last year.
Right. And, I think you see the development of Caleb Patterson and some of those guys. Like, I just think that you're seeing that development, and then you're getting on the field and you're making things happen.
And then we're hearing guys pop up the defensive back, the safety that just jumped out of nowhere, right? Who now he's like making plays
Oh, Tanner Eckel.
yes, Eckel and your boy Aaron Henry's just talking him up, talking about like he's the second coming of Clayton Fedulum.
Right.
You know, so it's like, and guys played in the league, you know, so it's just it's fun to see that and hear that and just where Illinois is at. So with that said, we'll start with Bielema's extension. When he got hired, you know, I knew that the man could coach, and I wasn't worried about that. And you know, I know there was a lot of people who are eating crow who were like, I don't think this is a good hire. I can't really remember 100% where I stood on it, other than I knew he could coach. I don't think I was angry. I think it was more like we had heard and thought Lance Leipold was going to be the guy, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so we were like, wow, look what we know. This guy's like, he's developed everywhere he's gone and he can coach, and we think he can be good. And then it's like Bielema, and, you know, a few people crack some jokes about it, you know, some of the things he's said and done. And where were you at on it now compared to where we are now? Like, I'm trying to remember, what did you say when he got hired?
So at first I was pissed, dude. I'll just be frank. Like I didn't like the guy. And I'm sure that there's some Illinois fans who remember our battles against Wisconsin. And I'm sure there are a lot of other Big Ten coaches that don't, Big Ten fan bases that don't like him. And I'm fully realizing why we didn't like him is because he's not gonna be bashful what he says. He's gonna stand up for his guys and protect his program. But he builds a really competent program. But then there were some things that really changed with me. So I watched some videos on him. He did this show on with Arkansas, where you were kind of learning about him and his family. And then his press conference, he talked about how his setback, I guess you could call it, and it was at Arkansas. And he was fired from there. It's probably the only job he's ever been fired from, is my guess. Humbled him, and he grew up. And he said it like it made him realize some things. And the way that he talks about his wife and his kids. And then, I mean, it didn't take very long. You know, I wrote about this on the site as well, is about like he's the CEO of Illinois football, and he's taken that, and it's one of the things is like Brett has a very unique ability to still speak meathead, but be really smart. Like he still can speak the football jargon, but he's a really highly intelligent guy. And I think the one thing that really changed my entire opinion on him, not only the first year where we were hyper competitive and should have been a bowl team, which, you know, I think I was probably in the 3-win preseason pick.
Let's keep it real. Every year this team should have been to a bowl game. The Wisconsin game last year or 2 years ago,
or Northwestern,
Yep.
But they were talking to one of the guys. They were talking to one of the players, and he's like, "Hey, listen, Brett prepares us for situations that might only happen one time in the entire season. Literally prepared, like we are prepared, like we go through that in drills, and like we might only get it, but we know exactly what we're supposed to do." Told me all I needed to know as a coach. And then furthermore, what he's doing now is Illinois is only one of 2 programs in the entire Big Ten Conference of 18 teams that has coordinators that have been at the school for more than 2 years. It's Illinois and Oregon. Head coach and coordinators that have been at school for more than 2 years. It's Illinois and Oregon. And so the level of continuity that he's putting together. And then I look at continuity, like from a coaching staff, it's really important. I also look at it, there's certain position groups where continuity is very, very important. And I think those positions, the top 2 position groups outside of quarterback, are offensive line and defensive backfields, because there's so much handoff between what those responsibilities are and what you need to do. I think linebackers is probably right behind that. And we've got so much continuity. He's just preparing this team to have a great season. Now, I do think there's going to be a letdown in 2026, and I'm okay with that. I think he's earned the right to possibly have a season where we might go 6-6
or 7-5, 8-4.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So I'm thrilled with him. He deserves all his flowers. He deserves the extension. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. I don't think you needed to put anything there. I don't think he wants to go to Iowa. I don't think Kirk's going to retire in the next 5 years anyway. And by that time, Brett's pushing 60. I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to stay at Illinois. I think he wants to leave his legacy here. And I've seen it in chat boards. People say build the statue, and that's what he's working. He's going to leave a legacy here as an all-timer. So
once he for sure passes the win total that he had at Wisconsin here, which he will at some point, He may not get the 3 Big Ten titles. I'm
It's a
gonna be
lot
honest.
harder now too, right?
What'd you say? And they're harder
It's a
now.
lot harder now.
Yeah, and I don't know if he gets 1 Big Ten title, he can. But still,
this year,
I think
it really could the way it sets up. So
it could. I think Illinois being in the Big Ten title game is very possible at 11-1. I think it's realistic. 10-2 probably not, but a college football playoff, I think at 10-2 is a pretty good shot. Like I would feel confident, like more than the teams that felt they got screwed and left off that they should have been in. I think Illinois will be one of those teams that you'd say you can't leave them out. But yeah, so I know that I knew he could coach, and then so more than deserving of his extension. I think that if anyone would have told us and any Illini fan 4 or 5 years ago where we would be at right now, I don't know if we'd have believed you. But man, look where. Hey, what's the meme with Paul Rudd? Like it's like,
look
hey,
at us.
Hey, look at us now. Look at us. Like that's how you feel to be an Illinois football fan, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, dude, I'm mowing the yard yesterday, and I'm listening to Illinois podcast talking about position rankings in football. And hey, listen, I'll say it. It was the Illini Inquirer. I thought they did a great job breaking down the football position rankings. Right, like Ryan and I mean, we'll give flowers where the flowers are necessary, but it's just like it's May, and my Cubs are in first place. And my Thunder are playing for an NBA Finals, and I'm this stoked about Illinois football.
Life's good. You're healthy. You got your.
But I'm just saying, like
arms are healed.
I could have been listening to a Cubs podcast. I could have been listening to Ryan Russillo talk about the Thunder, but no, I'm listening to Illinois guys talking about where our position ranking groups are, and camp doesn't start for almost 2 months.
Yeah. Oh man, I know. And it's going to be hard for us to not start every week. I probably want to talk about the schedule, but I'll wait till August. So we'll wait till August. We got a lot. We'll talk positions and stuff in August.
Once again, Robert, Illini board, he talked a lot about called it August syndrome, and I was victim of August syndrome a lot of times, where you just overhype the team and you think they're going to be so much better than they are. And it's happened to us so many times. And like this year, it's absolutely legit. There are legit college football commentators who are talking about us that never talk about Illinois. I listened to another podcast the other day. I forgot what the 2 guys' names were. They were breaking down Illinois' chances, and then it rolled into another one with another national guy had us 4th in the Big Ten. I mean, like you're 4th in the Big Ten this year. That's behind Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. Those are 3 top 10 teams. Like this is exciting, and Brett Bielema has built this, and he's built it with continuity, being able to retain players. He's adjusted with how he handles the transfer portal. I think he could have handled the transfer portal better 2 years ago. And then player development, coach development. I mean, listen, halfway through the season last year, people were still really mad at Aaron Henry, right? And then by the end of the season, Aaron Henry was getting inquiries from Clemson. And I think Illinois fans are pretty comfortable with the defensive coordinator coming in this year. And it's just – and that's coach development. Brett's developing his guys, and it's just impressive.
It always amazed me, though, how many guys, though, I thought new ball at the end of the year were still bitching about Henry, like, oh, man, he's still over his head. He shouldn't. And I was just like, hold on a second.
The Purdue game threw a lot of things out of whack, I think. So.
But, I was like, let's take a step back and reflect on how many teams they held under 20 points. Like, I was like, let's not worry about one game. Let's do this. Let's do a sum here, and how compared to the year before, how much better they were, and also who they had too.
We didn't rank in the top 50 in any rushing metrics because our defensive line was so thin and so young, and we didn't have a lot of depth. And it's just thin. Like actually, they weren't very big, and we didn't have a lot of depth. And then you go to the linebacker position, and Lord knows we love Dylan Rosiak here, but he's not exceptionally fast, and you just didn't have guys that were ready. This year, I think you're looking, we're still adding guys on the defensive line. We just got that guy from Bemidji State or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that kid. Like, I don't know that he's going to play this year. But you're 6'7", 290 with that wingspan that he's got. That guy can develop into somebody.
Think about that, though. The depth, 6'7", 275. Yeah, the depth of this year's team is just so much better than it's been.
The guy we got, was it from Youngstown State? or whatever. Or that might not have been Youngster, but it was another D3 guy. Like I watched his tape. I like him. I'm telling you guys, Gentile Hunt and Daniel Brown are going to make plays this year on this defensive line, or at the outside linebacker position, Daniel Brown. And this I'm excited. Well, and our guy Brad Underwood got an extension too. I'm waiting for St. Dominic's Rosary to chime in and tell us what an awful thing that was. But hey, that's all right.
St. Dominic's, come on, baby, come on, we're waiting for you.
You know what's weird? What's weird is both of our guys got clauses where like there's like a non-compete where like they can't be like Underwood's is like no school in the nation can take him.
So he signed it though, right?
Yeah, but I don't know that it's binding. It's just kind of weird. I don't know that it means anything.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I think after this coming year now, I think people can just shut up. Every year, it's like, oh, he's gonna leave. It's gonna leave. Okay, just stop.
Right. It does actually create.
Every year's the year, Kev. He's going to Kansas State.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, all right. Let's just stop here. I think he wants to be a guy that when he's in his mid-70s, he's probably going to retire in his early to mid-70s. I don't think he's in good shape. He's healthy, looks good. I don't think he's going to be a guy that at 70 is going to be like barely able to walk around. You know, he's going to be fine. And so, but I think he wants to be a guy where he leaves. I know it's Lou Henson Court, but they might have Brad Avenue something, Underwood something.
Yeah.
You know, where we're like, we look back and look at the full trophy cases, probably have 5 or 6 Big Ten titles. I'll keep it real. We've got 3 with him. Probably have 3 more at least before his time's up, you know, and there might be a national title in there. I'm going to be honest. I feel very confident there'll be a Final Four banner. I do. I do feel confident with that. And people can say whatever you want. I think what they're doing now and how they're recruiting, where they're at with, you know, people nationally like, oh, Illinois, Will Riley, KJ, the national exposure, the international exposure is just really good for the program right now. And as long as you got guys like Antigua and Alexander on board and, you know, who can help in those avenues. And I like the new, you know, Cam Crocker addition. So, but yeah, Underwood deserves his extension. I think, you know, sure, things could be different in some avenues if Illinois beats Loyola. You know, a lot of things could be. What happened if COVID didn't exist? I would think that team could have made some noise. You know, we got there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, ifs, and buts. But I'm happy.
He's 2 quality seasons from passing under Weber into moving into 3rd all-time wins at Illinois. I don't know if he gets to Harry Combs 300, but I'm with you, Ryan. I think it's and it's always like. It's always there's just I know a lot of people aren't happy with the sustainment. I think they want more from Underwood, and I get that. I think they want more long runs in the tournament, and I get that. But I've just seen so many programs, and we've been victim of it, that try to find it with the next guy, try to find it with Chris Holtman, try to find it with Archie Miller, try to find it with Mike Woodson, try to find it with John Diebler. I mean, go down the list. Like, we can go down the list of coaches that have moved into schools, and they just have not done it well. So,
both guys deserve the extensions. We're all lucky to have them as the coaches. This is not, you know, kissing ass. This is just keeping it real. I think the majority of fans would agree with that. I like the trajectory of both programs, and it's just, man, I get between April and August, man. I mean, I can enjoy Major League Baseball some. It takes me usually a month and a half to get into it. I don't know about you, Kev. That first month of April, like, I can turn it on, but I'm just kind of like
I get super excited about it because it's exciting, but then I kind of lose it a little bit this time because you've got the NHL Stanley Cup and the NBA and like
and since you got the Thunder, once you have like a team in the race when the playoffs of the NBA get there, it's fun. But like if you don't,
it sucks.
It sucks because like. I would love.
That's why I was put like $5 or $10 on one team in the NHL to win the Stanley Cup, so I got at least somebody to cheer for.
And then the Hawks and the Blues. The Blues went down tough in 7 games. Where they blew a big lead to the Winnipeg Jets in the Game 7. It was like I was like trying to do something like root for. Come on, the Blues. I'll actually watch the NHL now. But So and then the Blackhawks, man, they're lost. yeah, other than that, let's see what we got comments wise. If we got any, did you draw anybody out of hiding here, Kevin?
No. I like Bill Mo's thing. He said it's Underwood has one of those unless this happens lines in his contract. Bielema is a strict non-compete for the Big Ten. Billy Mo, appreciate you chiming in on that one.
Unless, but something particular has to happen though
for Underwood, but Bielema will not leave Illinois for a Big Ten school based on his contract.
Unless this happens, but still,
no, that's only for Underwood. Bielema, he said Bielema
what
doesn't
I'm
have
saying
it.
is, even though I know that Bielema doesn't have it and Underwood does, the chances of unless this happens probably is not very high.
For sure.
So, yeah, I still feel pretty good about that. And I don't know, the latest on Puff Johnson for basketball, Sean, I don't know. I think Illinois is kind of set right now. Kev, you heard any different?
No, I think, and it surprises me. I don't think he measured well, but Will Riley will be staying in. There's talk he could leak into the lottery. They really like him at that level. So good for Will, great for Illinois. We'll have 2 one-and-dones that'll be drafted in the first round. That helps recruiting at the high school level, which we all know is a little bit different, but it really helps high school recruiting within the states because we're obviously recruiting these foreign kids, and I don't even want to call it high school, but it will help with the foreign kids too. We put a one-and-done guy. Igor Dumin was the higher-ranked guy over Kasparis, and Kasparis is going to get drafted over him. And Illinois is going to have some hand in developing in that, and there will be more guys that are interested in coming to play for Illinois. It's a really good thing for the school.
Very, very, very good. And we were going to get Demeen, and then he wanted $5 million, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll settle for KJ." I think it worked out.
Yeah.
And he tested well as well. I think he's impressed everybody with his 35-inch vert. I mean,
he's a lot more athletic than people realize.
Yeah, it's like 6'5", 35-inch vert. He's already got built like a grown-ass man at 18. So I think down the road, I think the people who were hating on him this year, I think they'll take a step back a little and just realize, man, that was a lot to ask an 18-year-old to just run.
I'm just telling you, go watch him before the Washington game. He's a different player. The left hand wasn't right. So
yeah, yep. I know. All right, so we'll get to unless Kev, you got anything else? We can get to some final thoughts here.
Well, Ryan, I'd like to hear your thoughts. You got any? You seem to be pretty tied in on this, and I don't know how much time or effort you've been able to dedicate it. I know you're doing some personal improvements in your life, and kudos to you on that one. But what do you know on the football recruiting front? I know that we got a big recruiting weekend next weekend. I think we have 9 of our commits that are actually going to be there. I know we got a bunch of guys coming in. My understanding, the big news for me is that Nick Hankins did not commit to Missouri on his trip, so that leaves us in a good spot. What are you hearing? What do you know on that front? Any football recruiting, not specifically Hankins, but just any of them. Yeah,
so sounds like Micah Smith is going to be committing next weekend. Illinois is in his top 6. I think I was told the Illini staff are cautiously optimistic.
That's a big one. 4-star offensive lineman out of IMG down in Florida, right?
I thought it was Vero Beach, but it might be at IMG.
I think he plays at IMG though. Yeah.
Okay, but he's from Vero Beach, so yeah. He's had teammates. I think he was at Vero Beach earlier, but he had some teammates that have committed to Illinois before. But anyway, yes, I think IMG. Now, top 6. I think it sounds like Illinois and UCLA are right there up at the tip top right now.
No, he's at Vero Beach, Ryan. You were right. I was wrong. My apologies.
Hey, it's all good, dude.
That's a top 200 kid, man. He's a stud.
That's a big one. And Illinois has been winning these. Even if Vic Singleton left, remember Illinois did get him to commit. Illinois and UCLA, I've heard it's neck and neck. I think Illinois is going to try to, they're going to keep working this week. I think I've heard UCLA could be possibly leading, but if you look at the past success, I think, don't get me wrong. I know UCLA, LA, the Drew of LA, right?
Right.
And some kids just would like to play. I'm going to keep it real. There's black guys out here that would like to play for a black coach.
Yeah, for sure. Don't blame them.
How could we say anything about that? So it's like, well, Illinois is winning and UCLA's not. Well, that doesn't always mean everything. Maybe he wants to go to play in LA. Maybe he thinks Deshaun Foster is going to help him out more. Maybe UCLA can offer him more money than Illinois right away. Like there's other factors here. So I've heard Illinois and UCLA, and you never know with all the other teams that are in there in his top 6. It'd be a very, very good recruiting feather in your cap if you can come away with this one. So haven't heard much about who you were talking about who left. You said left Missouri.
Yeah, he did not commit. He had a trip to Missouri this weekend, official visit. He's coming next weekend to Illinois. Nick Hankins, the DB out of Belleville, top 400 kid.
Hey, and I got to tell you this for obvious people out here: if he's still coming and has not committed to another school that people were worried about, obviously that means big things for Illinois to possibly get that commitment next weekend. So sometimes, even if you haven't heard from me or whoever else you like to listen to for your recruiting tidbits that you enjoy, if you can get a kid to come and get to your official visit and he's not committing before some of these others, no matter what, that's always great for you. And I think Illinois probably feels great about it. And I'll try to have some sort of update before next weekend. I might post some stuff on X about it. But yeah, what do you think, Kev? Maybe we get, I haven't, maybe write something we'll write something for 200 columns. I'll try to maybe get a recruiting article in. Maybe you want to write something one time this month.
Yeah, I could do that for sure.
Yeah.
And Billy Moe chimed in. Yeah. Wheeler, Fours, and Vala. I agree with those. I like all 3 of those prospects. This Nelson Wheeler, right, running back out of Nebraska, 5'9", 200 pounds. Supposedly he's ridiculously strong. Owen Fours out of Barrington, offensive lineman, really good player, top 10, 15 kid in the state. And Vala's the 3rd best tight end in the state. In most years he'd probably be 2. So it'd be nice. Yeah. I do like our chances with Kai Pritchett as well. So that's a 4-star offensive lineman out of the East Coast. So
there's SDR, Kev.
What up, man? What up, SDR? He had to wait for us to be talking giving our glory to Brad Underwood. No, it's still exciting. I think there's a level of Illinois is still sitting right now top 10 on around the football recruiting rankings, and I don't think that we're going to stay in the top 10. Because we're just not going to have the 5-star kids to offset that. But Illinois is doing a really good job in, we lose Vic Singleton, we gain Nasir Rankin. So we might lose Javari Burnett, we'll pick up Nelson Wheeler. They're doing a really nice job there. But all these guys, all of our commits are top 1,000 kids. You got to go way back to find a year where Illinois didn't take any kids who were not top 1,000. Our average Power 4 offer list is like 4. These kids have 14 Power 4 offers. That's not the average the kids are committing to Illinois right now.
Yeah. You got to remember the Lovey Beckman years, even though Beckman, wasn't terrible with the 2-4-6 wins. His recruits were like Illinois beat
Western Michigan.
Beat out Western Michigan. Ohio.
And then beat out Mac school.
It was like beat out Purdue or Indiana for somebody.
Right.
Now it's just a whole new wavelength of beat out Ole Miss. Beat out Arkansas, beat out Iowa State, Kansas State. It's to another level. So, but yeah. So we'll talk more about how that weekend goes next week. I think definitely a couple. I would say I'd be shocked if they don't get at least two commits next weekend.
Hey, I know Illinois fans are stressing a little bit about J.C. Anderson. You and I talked about this offline. I think that his dad was a little bit frustrated with attendance in the middle of the season last year when Illinois was having a really good year. Mm-hmm. I can't help but imagine us selling out of our entire allotment of season tickets, which this guy from Oklahoma bought too. Okay. Yeah. Just so I can have them on hand. Hopefully we can have a giveaway maybe a giveaway for Western.
Remember, we're going to do the Ohio State tailgate, everybody. So remember that.
We're getting that set up already. We're going to get out ahead of that a little bit. But, that's got to help with J.C. Anderson, correct?
For the group that is worried about J.C. Anderson, I was always told he wanted to take visits and just kind of enjoy the process and stuff. And let's look at it from his perspective. Illinois set the bar. They purposely wanted Illinois first. Mm-hmm. Here's why. That's been the leader, and it's been the leader. They wanted to see the bar where Illinois could set. So if you have I'm trying to say it the best way for you guys for a salesperson, right? So if you have something that you already value and you think this is really where we want to go, and it's got all the things we want, let's go through there. And they go there first. Let's set that bar all the way up here. Now I want to see the competition. How high can the competition even get to it? Like, how good of a deal can you give me? How could you even compare to that feeling that I get with Illinois? Not just value of market of NIL, but how I feel when I'm there. Do you make me feel like I'm part of the family? Are you trying to over recruit me? Like, do I believe you are as genuine as Illinois is? And I think at the end of the day, also how they want to go see and listen to Bill Belichick.
Who wouldn't?
It's like, can you blame him?
I mean, I just watched his 30 for 30 with Bill Parcells the other day. It was awesome. So, my thought, and he's been to Illinois, what?
He's been to Illinois like 15 times. He comes, they just go watch basketball games just to go.
And he's in Mount Zion, like he's 45 minutes away. Like, I mean, it's
and like he went to Ole Miss this past weekend, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about where he's going to places that he's going to get high recognition if he went, get paid high dollar by coaches that they like and they enjoy. And then he's going to finish up Father's Day weekend at North Carolina, and that's going to be the last visit. And they will have a decision. They'll have a decision within probably by the 4th of July, I believe, within a couple weeks. So,
hey, and SDR, I'll chime in on this. So Ryan and I talked about this. It was a problem. We're in the middle of a great season at Illinois, and we can look at the same season we had in 2022. Like, you go look at the attendance for, I think it was the Michigan State game. It was abysmal. It was bad. And that's a team that won 8 games. We don't win 8 games. Like, that place should have sold out. Like, and we didn't. Like, we saying, I don't know what the attendance was for Minnesota. It wasn't as good as it should have been. I'll tell you that. It wasn't. I don't think it was a sellout. So I think there was just some concerns there. It was like, where's the fan support? Well, us selling out of our season tickets the second they open pretty much makes it pretty cool that I think that stadium is going to be full, rocking and rowdy every game this year. So
and to finish that was mid-season, and towards the end of the year when Illinois was really putting it on, and they showed out really well. I think Senior Day and some other games that they went to, and they saw how a Michigan crowd was. They know I've had J.C. Anderson coming to Illinois, and I haven't heard anything different than that. So I want everybody to know I don't try to ruin or spoil anything. I've had a good relationship with his dad. And so I want everybody to know his dad has never told me he's coming to Illinois. But when you talk to somebody and you get to know them, and they reach out to you about specific things in the program or things that they don't say, sometimes speak a lot more than what they do say, Kev.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. And then Bill Moe, I want to chime in on this, dude. I'm with you, brother. I'm a big Forster fan. I really like him. I think he's going to get about the amount of carries that Khalil Valentine got last year. I think that he'll be that fourth running back. And then Weish is a speed demon and can do some things. So I'm comfortable with the running back room. John Forster, Northeast kid.
So he was going to come to Illinois. So funny thing about the Forster commitment. He was going to come to Illinois, but all the people there in his camp and all these New Jersey people were like, believe in the Shiano stuff, man. Come on, give Jersey look at Monangai, right? He's a Jersey kid. Come to Rutgers. You can be the man here, blah, 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 blah. And then I was told they over recruited him and went after somebody else because he got injured his senior year.
Yes.
And he did not play as much. And he didn't look as good as he had his junior season. So then there were some concerns there. And Illinois was like, look, dude, we wanted you no matter what. And you're still able to get out there and play just because you got hurt. And one team's concerned about his health. Illinois saw him still competing and playing. He didn't maybe look the same, but he didn't look like he was a guy who couldn't play or wasn't going to be healthy enough his freshman year at Illinois. So they believed in him. He decided to flip because Rutgers was having a little bit of doubt. And Illinois was like, you know what? We're going to take advantage of this. We believe in you. We want you to come. So he flipped from Rutgers to come to Illinois. So.
Yes, sir. I really like him. I like Weish too. So I'm excited about those guys.
Okay, we'll let you lead off. Final thoughts.
All right. little bit of a disappointing weekend last weekend. Baseball team fizzled out. They really stumbled down the stretch. They caught a hot spot in the middle and then finished poorly, and it was a little frustrating. But listen, I said it in a chat recently on one of the boards. I'm like, I wouldn't play baseball at Illinois if I could go play in Florida or California or Texas. So kudos to Hartlib for the good seasons that he has had. The golf team come out really well. Round 1, round 2 was bad. Round 3 was awful. So they basically made it to the round of 30, but they did not make it to the round of 15. That being said, they got some really good news. Shortly in that period, I think it's Utah Valley State, Dane Huddleston transferring. The guy won like 4 or 5 tournaments this year. A better stroke average than Jackson Buchanan. Will probably take Jackson Buchanan's spot next year. And then that's really key because Max Henredine is a guy who could win Big Ten Golfer of the Year, and so is Huddleston. And Ryan Voos was really, really good down the stretch. And then they got a Belgian kid, I think, or a European who's coming in. And so Illinois golf, I think, will a little bit of a down year comparatively to what they had, but they still continue to make it to the national championships, which is awesome. They've made it the most times.
Who made the top 15 cut for singles?
What's that?
Who was the kid who made the solos last 15?
Henredine,
yeah. I saw he was at like -1 or 1 under par.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But it's just I follow it because we're really good at it, and I do enjoy golf. But it's the program it's one of those things. It'd be like losing in the second round of the NCAA tournament, but with really built-in disadvantages of being a northern school. So another good year there. So all right,
yeah, and this is going to be a dual. This is going to be a dual final thought for me, and I'm going to say it again. I said it 2 weeks ago. I'm going to put the challenge out, Kev. I'm going to lay the challenge out, and you explain to them why, what we could offer, and what. So here, I'm challenging someone to take a step out of your comfort zone, because there's guarantees if you want to sponsor this show. The guarantees are you're going to have eyes, you're going to have ears on your product, things you care about. The numbers don't lie. You could look around at any other live stream podcast. You can look at their numbers. Then you can look at your views on YouTube and all this other stuff. The numbers on X don't lie. I can give anybody who has questions on how many people will listen on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. We'll do all the math, and it comes out to several thousand. So if you're interested in your business or your whatever you've got going on, it doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, you're an attorney, you're a real estate agent, you have a restaurant. We've had people who have their own businesses making shirts. I don't care if you're a DJ, whatever.
Flower shop.
Flower shop. We've had several different people sponsor what we've done over the last 5-6 years. And as football season hits, these views, there's more ears and eyes are coming on to the Illini program, which means more people are going to be checking this out. And I could give you names. Illinois coaches watch this. Okay. Other teams' coaches watch this. Any insider you could think of has watched this, and they will be watching or listening to it. So if you want your product to get plenty of views, and live streaming, by the way, is taking over, because live streams where it's at, just is. And on X too. X is the world's town square, no matter what anybody says. It is. Like, TV's cool and all, but live streaming is where it is now. And I'm glad that that's where we're at. So we would love to have you. You could DM me, you could DM Kev, and we'll get something worked out, something that's affordable, accessible for you. Anything that just to get it rolling. We're just
willing to do trial codes, things like that, so you can track it, whatever's needed. We would love to do that.
So Kev, explain why it would be to their best interest to give us a shot.
Well, first of all, like, I'm doing some sales coaching and some sales training right now, and I'm doing it for a couple friends of mine and their businesses, and I am getting more and more people that are interested in my sales coaching. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel or my Facebook, you see some of the stuff that's coming out, and people want this. They want more of that coaching. And I'm telling them right now, like, good thing you're getting in now, because a year from now, that cost per hour is going to double and triple. And that's why I think that if you want to get in here, I think we can show some real results, and the barrier to entry to advertising with us on this show will be well worth your time. And I don't think that you and I aren't we don't do this to like, we haven't made a dime off this, right? We're not doing this to get rich, but man, it would sure be nice to tell my wife when I have to walk away for an hour on a Sunday night when we would like to have some family time. But yeah, at least I was able to buy her a dinner one time, right?
Yeah.
And
hey,
and then,
we'll do a pity sponsorship too. If you feel bad for us, think we should make money, think we should be able to take our significant others out. We'll do that, please.
no, but I think especially if it's, I think Central Illinois businesses is hyper local. You got a lot of eyeballs on this every week. You know, like we get thousands of views. Anywhere else that you're going to try to advertise for that's going to cost you a lot more money. And we're willing to work with you on how you can prove results. And it's as cheap as it's ever going to be right now, because once it gets rolling, it's never going to stop. So
true. And again, as much as it might be for us, at the end of the day, whatever we get, we're going to make off of sponsorships.
we're going to roll it right back into throwing tailgates and giveaways. And
we're going to probably put most of it towards improving the show, which
yeah,
is really improving it for you guys. So we appreciate that. That's all it is. I think too, and appreciation is a cool way to sponsor someone too, just because you appreciate all the years you've done it for free.
No, so, I know for a fact I can get a golf creds next year and go to the golf tournament. It's a golf tournament. I'd love for us to be able to like go interview some of those guys on a part of the show if that's something you're interested in. But dude, I'm not flying out to California completely on my own dime to do that. So
yeah, it's gonna get there, man. I would have no problem with that. That'd be awesome. So
or like, dude, like I said, we're gonna have tailgates, we're gonna have giveaways. I'm gonna give away tickets on this show to some football games. So
we did that. Remember we got that spinner on here?
Yeah.
We had that cool spinner thing that we're gonna do. We'll do that again. Other than that, though, June is here, everybody. So that means summer's right around the corner, and yeah, so we'll try to have a show every week. We might have another gap in here in June. Just depends with vacations going on. Kev, you know where you're going at this summer at all? Or
oh yeah, man, I've got lots of travel. So I'm going to Vegas.
I mean with the family. I'm talking about the family.
Yeah, we're going to New York. We're going to Illinois. Going to Boston. So
okay, so might be a week or two in there. And if he's in Chicago or something one week, we might be able to still get her done. We'll see if you're going to be in Champaign or something. So other than that, we'll probably be back next Sunday. Let's just count on it. So have a great week, and we appreciate you. Again, sponsorship opportunity, let us know. Swami out.
ILL.
I and I.